Chapter 3 Organizational Chapter 3 Organizational Environments and Cultures. I'm going to skip ahead in the slides to slide 24, because I want to first talk about the keys to an organizational culture that fosters success. If a culture is able to adapt easily to changes, or as the saying goes, go with the flow, then it's most likely because people feel secure and safe in where they are, and they trust that everyone else is looking at the common goal. That takes us to a clear mission statement. If everyone is looking to that common goal, they understand the components that make up the business's mission, and they know that everyone is working toward that common element. Employee involvement is an important aspect of it because you need to have everyone united in the belief that that mission is something worth achieving as a team. And then, of course, consistency is important as well. If you change mission statements, or if you change the structure or common belief systems of an organization, especially very often, then people are going to feel unbalanced, and it can create stress and can affect corporate culture. Now let's go back up a little bit and see what we've got. Let's see. Learning outcomes. As with other slides, I'm not going to go through each one, but I will talk about a few specific slides. Equilibrium theory. Companies go through long periods of stability with small, so incremental changes. That incremental change allows equilibrium to stay pretty balanced. You might make one small change here, a small change there, but the organization is able to remain in balance. Whereas dynamic, huge change can bring a company significantly out of balance. And if you do that too many times, employees start feeling that they aren't sure how they fit into that bigger picture. And Exhibit 3.2 talks about the complexity and resource scarcity. So that's an important one that you'll want to take a look at. The economy definitely has to do with the comfort that people have in their workplace. If their jobs are not secure, that's going to affect stress, which is going to affect morale. It's also going to affect business decisions. Let's see, moving on. One of the unwritten challenges of changing the demographics and behaviors of people in an organization is that change hurts. If you've had people of a similar color and socioeconomic background and similar education levels and geographic and basically everything about them is similar, they're most likely going to come up with similar responses to changes that are happening. So if a company seeks to have more of a diversified base, so that they have a broader range of input regarding ways to address issues going on with a business, that's going to help the business in the long run, because they're going to have a richer environment from which to pull ideas. But those first steps into that change can be painful, especially for those that have always done it this way, because they are having to push out of their comfort zones. Not necessarily a bad thing, but when you change the culture of an environment, it is adding stress, and there will be pushback. As a manager, you're having to manage that stress and help people accept change as being a positive, or at least a necessary element, while you are getting used to the change yourself. It's not always easy, but in the long run, having a broader base of personalities to draw from is definitely going to help the business overall. There's always political and legal constraints in an organization that add stress, and different political viewpoints. So you have to draw lines regarding those. Moving on, these are all important details, and you'll want to read about each one. Advocacy groups. Those can sway organizations from an external viewpoint. So, as an example, Gillette most recently, and Nike before that, had public boycotts of their products due to actions that have been going on in society, or commercials, or something that had been going on. So that does add stress, and it's being able to mediate or manage that stress in the organization, and in Gillette's case, turn it to a positive. Well, for that matter, Nike's case as well. They turned it to a positive so that they were able to build on that initial discussion that was going on and use that as a positive influence for their company. As a manager, you're the one who has to do that environmental scanning. You have to know what issues, what events are going on a daily, sometimes hourly basis that might affect your organization. Things change quickly, and as does company perception. As an entry-level manager, unless you're owning a business or stepping into a micro business, you probably won't be the one who acts on threats and opportunities within that business environment. But what you will have to do is you'll need to understand where the company is coming from regarding their decisions for the way they're acting, they're choosing to act regarding that. And you'll have to be able to find ways to communicate the need for support with the employees that you supervise. Of course, internal environments always have things going on, whether it is perceived changes that are accurate or inaccurate, or heavy turnover for a company. We had a manager at CSI who later sued the college for wrongful termination, which I think was wrong. But that's beside the point. She had over 300% turnover, and that was huge. Nobody wanted to work for her. Maintaining that organizational culture, that is hard. The phrase one bad apple, it really can spoil everything. Having someone bad-mouthing an organization, that negativity spreads. So being able to quietly and politely speak with that person and either help them reframe their thoughts to a more positive format or help them find another position either in the company or outside the company that would better fit their needs, so that the company is able to stay goal-focused and value-driven. Stories. Yeah, it's really cool to have a history with the company, to be able to talk about things that you've gone through together and succeeded and how you did that together. It creates a sense of belonging and support. Organizational cultures will change no matter what, even though you don't want them to. And then again, here we are to the end of the chapter, and we have key terms. And this time there's more than one page. So make sure that you're familiar with each of the key terms, and then we'll be all set.